Let's see how to convert a true course into a compass course. That means a true course into a compass course. So in order to convert true course into a compass course, we need to have the compass error. So before we go into the compass error, just remember this quote: compass best, error west. This is very helpful when you're finding the compass error, as well as when you're finding the conversion between the true course and the compass course. Now, if you can remember, T, V, M, D, C. This is true, variation, magnetic, deviation, and compass. So when you are comparing between the true course and the magnetic course, you have to consider magnetic as the compass. For example, compass west, error west. If you are comparing between these two, you have to consider magnetic as the compass. And when you're comparing between magnetic and compass, you have to consider compass as the compass when you're using this above quote. Now let's see how to convert 276 degrees true into compass. Let's assume in this case the variation is 2 degrees west. So let's see how to convert this one. If you can remember, TVM DC, write down TVM DC, right? So now we need to know, we need to find out the deviation for this, because variation already known, already given. So we need to find out the deviation in order to find the compass error in this case. If you look at the deviation card, so this is the deviation card that we are going to use. This deviation card, you can see the deviation is given to the ship's compass heading. But what we have is the true heading. So we need to find out, now we need a method to find out what is the deviation in this case corresponding to 276 degrees true. Right. Let's come back to the deviation card. So approximately we need to find out where the 276 is lying. Approximately the 276 is between, you can see here, between 260 and 280. I repeat, it's between 260 and 280. So you can see the deviation for 260 compass is 2.5 degrees west, and for 280 is half degrees east, right? So let's see how to do this. So you write down 260 and you write down 280. So from the deviation card, you can see 260 is 2.5 degrees west deviation, 2.5 degrees west, and 280 is half degrees east. So in this case, you can see that you have to convert now, you have to find out the magnetic heading for this corresponding deviations. So we know the compass, which is 260. We know the deviation. From the deviation card, it is 2.5 degrees west. And why we select 260 and 280 is because 270 is approximately in between 260 and 280. So now we have to find out the magnetic heading. So the magnetic heading in this case is going to be, we can go to compass best, error west method. So compass best, if the error is west, the compass is best. That means compass is more, so the magnetic is going to be less than 260 minus 2.5, which is going to be 257 decimal 5. And in this case, compass least, error east. So in this case, the compass is less compared to magnetic. So that means magnetic is going to be 280 decimal 5, right? So now let's look at the required, uh, let's write 276 here, which is the true course. So now we know that the variation is 2 degrees west. Because of that, you can see 276, the corresponding magnetic heading is going to be compass best error west. So that means magnetic is more, that is 278. So now we have to find out what is the corresponding deviation for this 278 degrees magnetic. So in order to find the deviation, we need to do interpolation. So let's do the interpolation between these two figures. So I will write down it back again. I will write down this one again here. The magnetic is 257 decimal 5, and the deviation, the corresponding deviation is 2.5 degrees west, and the magnetic is 280 decimal 5, and the corresponding deviation is zero point 0.5 east. So what we need to find out is 278. So the corresponding answer will come when we interpolate in between these values. So in order to interpolate, this is the method that we are going to use. A simple method, which is draw these two lines, draw this line, and remember this one minus this one divided by this one minus this one, which will be equals to this one minus this one divided by this one minus this one, this figure minus this figure. But in order to do that, we are going to uh, do we are going to put a sign in between the deviation. So let's assume that west is plus and east as minus. Okay, so I will put plus here and I will put east as minus. If the answer comes plus, that means the answer is going to be west. If the answer comes minus, that means the answer is going to be east. So let's do the interpolation. So it is going to be 278 minus the 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 difference between these two values, the difference between these two values. So 278 minus 257 decimal 5 divided by 280 decimal 5 minus 257 decimal 5 minutes is equals to difference between these two. So when you find difference between these two, answer minus plus 2.5, plus 2.5, and this value minus this value means minus 0.5 minus plus 2.5. Okay, so let's go into the next page and let's see the answer. Okay, so in this case, 278 minus 257.5 is equals to, when you calculate it, 278 minus 257 decimal 5 is 20.5, 20.5 divided by 280 decimal 5 minus 257 decimal 5. 280 decimal 5 minus 257 decimal 5, which is equals to 23, equals answer minus 2.5 divided by, here you can see minus 0.5 minus, here you can see minus 0.5 minus 2.5. So that is minus 3. So let's find the answer here. You can see when you take minus 3 into this side, it is going to be 20 decimal 5 divided by 23 into minus 3 equals to answer minus 2.5. So when we let's calculate this one. So that is going to be 20 decimal 5 divided by 23 into minus 3 is equals to minus 2.7. Minus 2.7 equals answer minus 2.5. So you take minus 2.5 into this side. That means answer is equals to 2.5 minus 2.7, because this will become plus when you go to this side. So it is going to be minus zero point 0.2. But in the previous case, we said if the answer is minus, that means it is east. So in this case, answer is minus. So it is going to be zero point 0.2 east, right? So the deviation we can say for 276 degrees true, for 276 degrees true, the deviation is zero point 0.2 east. And we know the variation. So the variation is 2 degrees west. So the compass error is going to be, since the west and east, you can see 1.8 degrees west. Now, since the 1.8 degrees west is the compass error, you can see that compass best error west, compass best error west. So the compass is more than 276. The answer is going to be 276 plus 1.8 degrees west. So the answer is going to be 277 decimal 8 degrees compass. This is the answer.